All right, please watch this introductory talk before you actually watch the video. The reason why I'm making this introductory talk is because I felt it was very important to set the stage or the context for what you're about to watch. Now, generally, my videos are 10 minutes to maybe 15 minutes long, okay? You could say 15 to 20 minutes long. Very rarely do I speak for 30 minutes and beyond, and super rarely does it ever go to 1 hour. Now, if you actually look at the timing of this video, to my shock and surprise, it went all the way to, with this introduction, I think it'll go up to, say, 50 minutes, nearly 1 hour. And what shocked me was when I started off this video, it was just a video about discovering who you are and just snippets. But as I was talking, I don't know, I got into a flow, a state of Zen, like Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, I think that famous author, he said, when you really get into something, you move into a state of flow where you can keep doing something without even imagining time is passing by. And this, very strangely, this video took me in a state of flow where I just opened up and I shared everything out. And, after I finished, I allowed myself to go with the flow. And after I finished, I was like, what did I speak for 1 hour, nearly 1 hour? And when I listened to it once again, what I realized is this is a video, a very heartfelt video, a kind of a confession as to how me, a young man who was born into a South Indian, Mangalorean, reserved Catholic family where my mother and stepfather never did their job as parents, where they never guided me, never spoke to me, never gave me the proper upbringing. I'm not giving you feel pity for me talk, but this was the fact. And they just led me to discover the world by my own self. And obviously, you get attracted to the temptations, you get attracted to the bad side. You have problems in school, you get bullied, you have insecurities. And as a young man, I was very, very confused, very insecure, very nervous, very lost. The church told me something, society told me something, friends told me something, everyone wanted me, the church wanted me to be a good Christian, my parents wanted me to be a rank holder, school wanted me to be a studious boy, then my parents wanted me to be a very good son. So everyone had so many expectations and I failed in everything, and I really felt I was going to amount to nothing. The same confusion that today young men face. You're lost, you're confused, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you should be, you don't know whether you should be like an Andrew Tate, an alpha male, you don't know whether you should be like a James Bond, you don't know whether you should be like a Shah Rukh Khan, whether you should follow Andrew Huberman, whether you should listen to Jordan Peterson. There are so many role models, so many people giving advice. It sometimes will just make you wonder, like, where the hell do I go? What the hell should I do? Who should I listen to? Should I be God-fearing or not? Should I listen to my parents or not? Should I listen to my relatives or not? Should I listen to my elders or not? Should I be like fake it till you make it? Or should I be, very sure of myself? Or should I be like a sponge, a student listening to everyone? Or should I listen to few people? So this video will really help you understand my journey, how I went from being this confused, insecure, nervous, lost young man, the typical Indian young man, to what I am today. I know some of you will say, yuck, maybe, oh, I would never want to be tattooed, I would never want to be a freak. Fine. You don't have to be the things that you do not like. But I'll tell you, even if I do not fall within the framework of what you say is perfect or happiness, I am very, very happy. Very happy. So happy that I don't want to change a single thing. That if I were to die today, I tell you, if I were to die today, I'd be the happiest, no regrets. So the purpose of my video is to help you discover who you are, to be true to yourself. This word that they throw around, authentic, be authentic. This video, I feel, will help you become that authentic self. However, in order for this video to really help you, I request you, if this is the topic that you really want to focus on, listen to it first when you're driving or when you're doing something, but you need to pay attention to the words. Yes, maybe some places it'll be slightly boring, or maybe you'll be like, oh, it's too much. I can't focus for 45 minutes. I can focus 2-3 minutes. Then listen to it in chunks and pieces. Okay? And if possible, take down notes. Get a notebook, take down notes. And why I'm telling you this is not to give me any importance. I get greater happiness and joy knowing that I'm able to make a positive influence. Remember, I was born like you in an Indian family, religious family, conservative family, a family that, didn't bother, unfortunately. And from being that typical Indian character, today I am who I am today. The guy who is so cold, focused, like Chef Gordon Ramsay, brutal, blunt, but I make money. But I'm very happy in the direction. I'm very sure who I am. I don't need religion. I don't need society. I don't need friends. I don't need anybody to tell me who I am. I know who I am. So I'm hoping that this video helps you reach that point of self-discovery. And if this video helps you, you can comment down below. I always read it. If you have any questions and need clarifications, please mention it down below. I will read it. I will respond to you. And if nothing else, heart of hearts, I hope it adds some benefit to your life. It changes your life in a positive manner, or makes you closer to answering the question, who are you? Who's your real self? What are you really? And whatever is, your purpose in life, whatever is your goal, I hope this video helps you realize that better and gain clarity. Having said that, I hope this video really helps you. Let me know your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. And any questions, feel free to ask. Having said that, guys, enjoy. I hope this video really helps you. Let me ask you $1 million question, which I'm sure you must have asked yourself, or at least thought about it at some point in your life. Okay, and the question is, should you be yourself? Should you be yourself? Or should you try to be a better version of yourself? Or should you try to be something else, like fake it till you make it? Should you be a good guy, like being nice, being polite? Because in some places they say you need to be a gentleman, you need to have manners, you need to treat people with courtesy. But then you have rebels like Andrew Tate who says, no, you need to treat those bitches and put them in their place, and can't be a good guy. And then I've also made videos where I've told good guys don't last very long in today's world, especially if you are too giving, too nice. Girls will take advantage of you, people will take advantage of you. So the question is, should you be nice? Should you not be nice? Should you be good? Should you be an asshole? Should you be a bad boy? Or should you, what? Like there are some people who actually are on YouTube and they pretend to be bad and villainous. And then you have chefs like celebrity chef, what's his name, Dave Ramsey, who was absolutely horrendous and horrible and hurtful. But then you saw the family side, and then you realize he can also be a nice guy. What about Simon Cowell? That Britain's Got Talent and X Factor and all that. So he used to be really rude and in your face, and he used to say what people really wanted to say, but now he's softened down. So what is it? Okay. Just like you, I also went through all this confusion, all these questions when I was young. See, when I was young, just like all of you, in school, I always wanted to be popular. I wanted to be liked by the guys. I wanted the girls to oogle at me. And, there were these handsome guys who girls used to always stare and look. And they used to like, oh, what a dreamboat. And Then there were these popular gangs of the cool guys, like rap artists. Those days, Indian Mallu, trying to be like, look like a rap artist, long hair, you know, those bracelets and rings and all that. They used to be the dark, you know, Megadeth, Metallica kind of this thing. They thought that was cool. I don't know if girls used to dig it. Then there used to be the North Indian Hindi filmy, you know, used to look like, you know, try to look like, I don't know which actors were there. They were, those days, I think Akshay Kumar and Sunil Shetty and all that. And then there were these guys who want to be Vanilla Ice, want to be Michael Jackson. They used to have the little ponytail with the rubber band. I used to remember that. And then me, I always loved the wrestlers. Razor Ramon had a thing here. And I didn't want to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously. Razor Ramon. Shawn Michaels was good looking, and Bret Hart was strong and good looking and muscular. Undertaker was really like, you know. So we used to have these role models, and obviously Marvel superhero comics, Wolverine, Hulk, and Superman, and all that. Okay. Those days, James Bond was, I think it was Roger Moore. James Bond wanted to be like that, wanted to be like Arnold, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone. So, all of us, we had our role models, but we wanted to be popular. But obviously, not everyone can be popular. Not everyone could be rich. There were some guys who used to get the latest Walkman and, you know. But then this not only continued in school, I used to see glimpses of it in high schools, in colleges. The cool, good-looking guys, the girls used to go crazy. Then there were these muscular guys, and some girls used to like them. Then there were these rebels, girls used to avoid them. Then there were these normal, mediocre, who used to get along, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend. But everyone wanted to stand out in their own style, be good looking or be handsome. And then there were these gangsters. So from school, you go to high school, then you go to college. But this continues in your workplace. This continues in your adult life. You still want to be the person in the family who is not only good looking, but who's successful, who's respected, who's liked, who's admired. We all like that. But those were pre-social media days. Today, in the day and age of social media, there's so much of confusion. Should I be a nice guy? Should I be a bad guy? Sadly, because of the free access to information related to steroids, many young men have opted to, even as young as 20, to take steroids to get muscle, to look big, not knowing that this will permanently destroy their lives later on. And you feel confident when you're big and strong and muscular and hunky and all that, and they like to have a nice jawline. In fact, it's really sad that so many girls, because they're on Instagram, they get influenced into surgery. I've known girls as young as 16 who have done their nose here in Thailand, nose, cheeks, even though young. Some clinics, if the parents say yes, they'll do it. They have taken fillers. I saw this family of this mother and these young girls. All of them looked like they had bloody surgery. Seriously. Their eyes were puffy and makeup. And that girl must have hardly been 18 or 19. It was like, what are you doing to your natural face? It didn't look natural at all. So all of us do these things to gain popularity, to feel special, to stand out. From big muscles to, you know, these tattoos and all that, to making rebellious statements like smoking, earrings, biker gangs, having troublemakers as your friends. So that warrants the question, should you be a good guy? Should you be a bad guy? Generally, what I've noticed is the groups you hang out with, they define your character. If you are a nerd, you hang out with the nerdy guys, you become nerdy. If you are, let's say, very studious, you study very hard, you'll be studious in nature. That doesn't mean you'll be a nice guy, but, you know, those traits. If you are a part of a bodybuilding group, you'll be like that. If you're part of, let's say, a biker group, you'll be like that. So the traits follow. But then comes personal choices. In a biker gang, in a, let's say, group that studies well, Maybe one guy likes to secretly. I know this. I know this because I've had even students who go to Ivy League. Some of them were my clients. Some of them liked really kinky fetish stuff. They liked weed. They liked going to prostitutes. They liked, having that dark life, the sinister life that they couldn't talk about. But they would put a facade of being well suited, suit and tie, well behaved. Like they would look like a perfect politician's son or a perfect preacher's son or a perfect ideal candidate. They had the dark side. So there will be two faces. Because obviously the parents' pressure, if your parents are PhD doctors or NASA scientists, you can't have tattoos and look like a, Rangila Tapori type, some street thug. Okay. So some people prefer two faces. Some prefer to be a nice guy. And they're genuinely nice. I have known children of preachers who go to church and they genuinely want to preach the Bible. They genuinely want to do good for others. They take part in charitable events. They help the poor. Some of them even don't have sex. They practice celibacy. So they genuinely want to be good because they are thought to be good. Then obviously you have the majority who are totally lost, the 80%, who don't know what they want to be. Whatever they see in the movies, they'll try to copy. Like when Gajni came out, it was a Hindi movie where the hero, Amir Khan, first he is like a prim proper suit and tie kind of guy. But then a villainous character attacks him, he loses memory, and then he has like a near shaved, bald almost hairstyle with a scar, with a very big line like this to show that he got injured here. And because of this style, many young men in India started to copy it. So people copy. And now when you have Andrew Tate, who is like this role model for underage or teenagers or college kids who have this wild fascination that this is how life should be. So they're busy copying him, trying to copy that physique, trying to copy that tough man attitude, fuck you bitches, you're not part, the matrix is going to overtake you and this and that. And they try to act like they know everything. What color is your Bugatti? They will challenge people of authority. So you have the Andrew Tate fans. Now one side you have like the Sadhguru types, spiritual or try to be spiritual, who follow what their mom and dad says, go to temple, go to church, go to mosque. They have to be goody-goody. They have to study hard. They have to dress proper. Then you have the Andrew Tate types, the ones who are lost, who are searching for a role model. But nobody wants to be unpopular. Very rarely. Yeah, they like to be hated, but they don't want to be ignored. That's what I mean. Not unpopular, ignored. So it begets the question, should you be good? Should you be bad? Should you play the role of a hero? Should you play the role of a villain? Or, should you be one of those pranksters, class clowns? When I was young, I had all these questions. I was not sure. I wanted to be like Archie Comics Archie. I didn't want to be Reggie. I wanted to, and I liked Jughead because I thought he was funny. I thought he could keep eating anything he liked. So I kind of liked that. So as to try my level best to be like Archie. Archie's room was a mess. I used to keep my room a mess. His clothes are not proper. Even if my room was proper, I would make it a mess. I wanted to be like him. And I told you, Arnold and all that. I wanted to be like that because I wanted to be popular. And my parents and society said, be a good Christian. Because those days, I was a Christian. Be a good Christian. Show Christ in you. Be pious. Fasting, praying. Don't masturbate. God is watching. Don't tell lies. God is watching. One day, if you help the poor, one day you'll have a place in heaven. So I try to be good. But then there was that bad side in me where I wanted girls. I liked girls. I liked sex because I was a young 20-year-old. And given the fact that later on, as I moved into bodybuilding and then steroids, I enjoyed sex a lot. I enjoyed physical activity. But I was confused because that is not good. And then I realized with my freedom, when I got total free from parents, free from society, I broke away from them. I wanted to get a tattoo. I wanted to get many girls. I wanted to have sex many times. I wanted to go to the gym. I didn't want to be a good guy. So then I started to experiment the forbidden stuff. That is why so many boys and girls, when they are with their parents, they dress up well, they act well, they don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, don't drink. But when they go to college and they're away from their parents, all of a sudden they're introduced to the world of smoking, drinking, drugs, weed, sex, and they want to try everything. Why do you think so many cabin crew members who are young, in front of their mom and dad, they are all nicey, but once they join the cabin crew, they experiment with literally everything, from going to expensive cities, staying in hotels, even sleeping around. Why? Because freedom. Why not? Your body wants to experiment. But then you realize I'm violating the principles of society, of religion, of God, parents. I also face the same guilt. I was like, I'm not a good person, and I used to feel guilty about it. Until in my quest to discover who I was, I started going for coaching classes, seminars, events, conferences, started reading books from Robert Schuller, then Tony Robbins, then Jim Rohn, all the good old oldies. Okay, R.V. McKay, then Eat the Frog. Who is that? Brian Tracy. Yeah. So I would read all of them, and I was still confused until I went to this coaching, which was called co-active coaching, which is based in Europe, and they sit in a circle. It was actually for Goras, all the expensive white people, and I didn't have any money, but I still borrowed money to go for this seminar. It's a 3-day seminar, 3-day, full day, 3-day or 5-day coaching session, and they help you discover who you are. Okay, I spent almost 25-30,000 dirhams AED those days. Maybe it's more now. Out of all the stuff that they taught, most of it I have totally forgotten. And I don't think I apply any of them. I've applied it in my business, that's a different thing. The structure of how they make money. But there was one thing that helped me get a breakthrough. We were doing a discovery session where everyone is supposed to sit in a circle. There's no teacher and you sit like students. Everyone sits in a circle. So they consider everyone equal. And they had given us an assignment that write down on a sheet of paper the person you like, the person you admire, the qualities you like. So we are busy writing. And then after some time, he said, now I want you to write the things that you don't like. The people that you hate, the things that are dark, sinister, that you absolutely loathe, that you will not tolerate, that you will not accept. So for me, it was my stepfather. For me, it was my uncle who raped me, molested me. For me, it was people who take advantage of children and hurt and harm them. For me, it was my parents who, they destroyed my life. So for me, those were the characters and those were the attributes. And then as, they make us sit 2 by 2 and then 3 by 3 and then, they have these sessions, smaller circles. Finally, they asked us all to share. Okay, we all shared, even I shared. And then they give us a shocker. What the coaches said, the co-active coaches said, was what you've written down in the paper, that this dark, sinister character, we want you to role play and become that. So let's say, for example, but not explicitly, like what I mean. For example, I hated a child molester. I hated my uncle who was a child molester. I hated people who took advantage of children, who hurt children like my parents. I hated people who were like I would call them like a dark, sinister child pedophile rapist, kind of like, just to give a name. And then to my shock, they said, you have to be that. We were like horrified, like, what do you mean you have to be that? Like, there was one rich lady who was born into richness, she never sat in anything less than a Rolls Royce. She hated the poor. She hated being poor. So she was supposed to be poor, and she was horrified that I have to be poor. What do you mean? She was high class British aristocrat. She always ate fork and knife, and she was born into that. So her challenge was to sit. We're sitting in the table eating food. She was made to sit on the ground and with the plate on the ground, like act like she's like a poor person. Okay, I I hated people who took advantage. I was supposed to be bad and make people cry, and with regards to being that pedophile, evil, sinister character, she said, "We don't want you to hurt children, harm children, because the coach has to guide each one of us." So just look at an individual and think like that. I was very disturbed, but they said, "We want you to do this so you can discover who you are." Like there was a lady who hated the fact that her husband had cheated on her. She was supposed to take the role of being a promiscuous woman who wanted to sleep with everyone. There was a kindergarten teacher who loved children and has sacrificed a lot for children. She was supposed to think of hurting and harming children. There was a career-minded person, and they were told, think like you're alcoholic, and just total opposites. Okay, so all of them had their roles. Generally, when we used to come in the room, it was based in Dubai Knowledge Village, near Media City, sorry. The energy used to be high. Like you come in and everyone's excited. But that day when we all came into the room, there was this heaviness in this room. Everyone was feeling heavy. Everyone was feeling sad. Everyone was feeling, you could literally sense it. So then the coach came in and said, can you feel the energy in the room? And people were sitting feeling sad. I was also feeling like shit. And there were one or two females who actually cried and sobbed and said that was the most horrible few hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever I ever faced. And she says, I couldn't sleep. I wept and I cried because they want to push you out of your comfort zone mentally and emotionally. So when it came to each one, we were supposed to tell what had happened. That lady who was supposed to sit on the floor and eat on the floor, she was very, very sad and depressed. She never felt so depressed. That lady who always loved children, she sobbed the whole night. Her husband was so angry. He said, "You're not going to go there." But she said, No, this is a learning process. For me, I went to a shopping mall that was Dera City Center, and I stood there, and as I was looking at each child and each lady, I couldn't do it for more than a few minutes. I was like, I can't do this, man. This is not the person I am. This is the person I hate. But I had to follow instructions, so I tried, but I couldn't. And I slept, but I was not happy at all. So when each one was opening up and sharing their experience, when it came to me, I was smiling, and all the Goras are there, and they're rich people, and I'm the only guy there who's poor and not Gora. And so I was like, I kind of felt uncomfortable. It was not, I was smiling and talking, which I normally do. All of a sudden, there was one lady sitting just bang opposite to me. We are sitting in a circle. She's like, Loy, stop it. Like, just stop it. Like, she was also disturbed. And she started shouting, stop it. I just suddenly stopped talking as I was sharing. I looked at her and stop what? Then other lady, yeah, Loy, just stop it. It is sick. And she was also crying. And I was like, wow, what the hell is happening? And then the coach herself said, Loy, we all know you're faking it. I said, faking what? And remember, those days I was really fat. 120 kilos. I just come from India after I lost everything. So there was one tattoo, just this one. There was not all this on the face, but there was body tattoos, just this one. So I was a very plump guy. I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be courteous. She says, Loy, stop it. So that coach said, see, Loy, everyone is aware that you're trying to fake it. You're trying to be a nice guy. You're trying to please everyone. You're trying to be polite. Can you just stop it? I was just taken aback. I was like, I'm polite. Shouldn't you be polite? No. And they all like, don't be polite. I was like, I'm confused. Then one, I think it was a guy or girl. Lady. Law, don't you understand? Don't you get it? We accept you for who you are. We know you're a rebel. We know that you are a troubled child. We know that you have had a miserable past, even though you have not shared your life with us. We know that life is tough for you. We know that you're angry with all. You don't fit in. But at least be genuine about it. Don't try to fake it and try to show that you like us, that you're comfortable with this, that even when you're eating, we all eat in a particular way, you eat in a different way. You're always looking and trying to emulate us. Why don't you just be your goddamn self? And, but then I just said, like, but if I'm myself and people don't accept, then they said, so what? If people don't accept you, don't be with them. Why you trying hard to fit? It's like, that Steve Jobs thing, that square, round shape in a square peg hole or some whatever. So why are you forcing yourself? If people don't accept you, leave them, go somewhere else. And if they don't accept you, go somewhere else. But go to a place where you are comfortably you. Stop trying to fit into society, fit into religion, fit into people's expectation. We all know you're faking it. We all know you're uncomfortable. We all know. And then they said the magic word, Loy, we all know you're an asshole. One particular Indian guy, he was Indian but educated UK. He didn't like me right from the get-go and I was indifferent towards him. He said, Loy, listen, I just want you to know I don't like you. It was evident from the get-go. I don't like you. I don't like your style. I don't like the person you are. And it is very evident that there is this tension between us. That's why you avoid me and I just explicitly let you know that I don't like you. He's saying, but I always admired, deep down, I admired the fact that you have the guts to tattoo yourself, you have the guts to fight with the world, you have the guts to stand out. You're never going to be popular, you're never going to be liked, you're never going to be like us. But what is unique about you is you. But where I lost respect for you is when I saw you trying to kiss up to my ass and trying to be nice instead of being you. Instead of just saying, fuck you, I don't want to be, I'll be myself. I would have respected you much more as a man if you could stand up for yourself. I was completely stunned when I heard all that. I was like, oh, nobody told me this. My mother never told me. My father never told me. Society never. They never said be yourself. They never said be who you want to be or be what you are. They always said listen to God, listen to the church, listen to school, listen to your teachers, listen to your parents, honor them. Now, I'm not trying to say that you have to dishonor your parents or you have to insult your teachers. But then when something is so obvious and you're trying to fake it, like you hate someone, but you're trying to show them that you like them, people can see it. Like office politics. You don't like this person, but you're faking it. So I'm not saying start showing that you absolutely hate the person, but don't put on a facade. That was my learning that day. And I'll tell you, I don't remember what went through the rest of the day. But when I went home, that was the changing point in my life. It was a turning point. I just asked myself, if everyone knows I'm an asshole and everyone can see through it and everyone knows I'm a rebel and it shows from my tattoos, and why am I trying to fit in? Why don't I just be myself? Why don't I just... But then who will be my friends? Who'll stand with me? What if I lose everyone? What if I become alone? What if my relatives have nothing to do with me? I'm trying to be a good Christian. What if I want to be an atheist? There were so many questions. You'll not believe, in the end, I had to take a very powerful decision. I had to make a choice that I was going to be myself. And that involved from being a Christian to announcing my atheism, which completely... You will not believe, people actually, like we were sitting in a party. I remember my cousin's party, my mom, my aunt, all of them, they had come from India, from Canada. They were all sitting there and we were talking. They were talking about Jesus, Mary, and they were like, Loy, you need to come back to Jesus or something like that. I said, oh, don't buy and believe into this bullshit of the Holy Spirit and Mother Mary and all this nonsense. And you will not believe, all of them, oh, you insult the Holy Spirit, will get destroyed, will be cursed. They all got up and they all left me. Seriously, in a table, we're sitting at the garden. My cousins were rich. They all left me and they all stayed away from me because it was like maybe God will... It was nighttime, 8 o'clock. There were lights and all that, in the garden. As if God would strike me down with a meteor or something. and they all kept away from me. My When people came to know that, I started tattooing myself, people refused to even be photographed with me. My own clients, those days I used to get clients slowly, they didn't want to be associated with me, which is why I've always kept clients confidential, and I don't blame them, because I'm controversial. If you have a very clean image in the corporate world and you associate with something that is controversial, it can cost you a lot of things, because the HR always will pick up on something that doesn't go with their values. So I was a anti-religious, anti-society, anti-corporate person. So people had to. At that time, it kind of hurt. Very soon, I lost all the friends, school friends, college friends, girlfriends, whoever who wanted that clean-cut image. And I was alone for quite some time. And it's like I had to reset my life, reset from scratch. And given the fact that then I lost money, I lost success, I lost everything. So that was a great reset. It was like a total factory reset of a smartphone. And I ended up with nobody. And because of this, I could see through people. I could read people. I knew who are my friends, who are not my friends. And there was nobody who was my friend. And I understood human nature. They will come with you only when you have money, when you have success, when you have fame, not when you are nothing and nobody. And that shaped and defined my character. And today, the Loy Machedo that you see is a sum total of all those experiences. See, I was born just like anyone, like you, me, born. We are in the hands of our parents. We are taught good values. They want us to be good. But then what happens is every child is different. Some children have ADHD, some have OCD, some are normal, some are studious, some are nerdy, some are shy, some are aggressive, some have too much energy, some are very fat, some are very thin, some are very sporty. So no two children are alike. They look different, they act different, they behave different. Ask any parent who has had 2 or 3 children. Every child in the same household has a different personality. One might be a rank holder, one might be a total failure, one might be interested in sports, one might be interested in studying or drawing or whatever. So we are all unique, we are all different, we all have different likes, dislikes. So now the question is, so what should you be? Should you be good? Should you be bad? Should you be a rebel like Andrew Tate? Should you be holy-poly? Should you be religious? My answer to this question, especially when I deal with my clients or students, I tell them the first step in order to discover who you are is to leave your parents' house, leave your mother and father, leave society, leave the place where you stay, leave that religion. Means not give up, leave, and go stay totally somewhere else, where nobody knows you, where you're starting all over new, where you can do whatever you like. I've seen in so many cases that when a person who never had freedom, whose parents were very strict, whose religion was very strict, whose society was always looking, when they get total freedom, they become just the opposite. From being holy, they become promiscuous. They become unholy. From being like a celibate where they don't have sex with anyone, they want to sleep around with everyone. From being a person who's a vegetarian, they want to try not vegetarian. From being a person who comes home on time, they want to come late. I even know one military man who had his son. He came and stayed with me in the dormitory in Mangalore. I'm serious, huh? This is not a joke. On the first day, when his father came, announced, he said he's going to be my roommate, fine. He had come a few days before the actual college opening, so I was the only person, he was my roommate. And like when when the father brought him, he stood up, morning sir, how are you sir? Like, like a military. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with him? The military man said, my son is well trained, well disciplined, okay. So I was like, oh, chill pill, didn't think much, he was a young boy. The next day, I woke up at around, I think 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. There was no electricity in Mangalore. in the dormitory. We were alone, the whole building. This guy, when I woke up, your room is a mess when you are as a college student, everything is up and down. This guy had cleaned up the entire room, had folded all the clothes, kept everything proper. He had folded and kept all his clothes proper. He had folded, kept all my clothes proper. He even put the stuff to wash. And I woke up and I was like, where the fuck am I? Like, which room? He's like, good morning, sir. Sir, everything is done, sir. I was like, whoa, whoa. Like one eye open. I'm like, what? Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. And then I checked. I was like, what the fuck, man? I was shocked. It took me some time to wake up after I washed, and I said, let's go to have food. And even food, you will not believe, like when the food came, if this is the plate, this is a plate. When the food came, like, you're supposed to eat idli and, he got his rice or whatever, vegetarian. He was like, and in less than, I think 3 minutes or 4 minutes, I was like looking at him like, I had just finished tearing up a dosa and he finished eating. I was like, the fuck is, like, what's wrong with you, man? He's like, sir, this is how we have to be in the military school, sir. I was like, I had to literally explain to him, say, listen, chill the fuck out. You're no longer in the military. This is normal life. Just be normal. At that time, he was very confused. But over the period of time, and then because he was junior to me, he had to stay separate. He ended up staying in his quarters. There was for juniors. He was doing 11th and 12th. I was like the more on the first year of college, which anyway, I didn't attend anything. The same guy who was prim, proper, and perfect. Prim, proper, perfect. PPP. Guy who didn't smoke, didn't drink, get up on time. This guy started smoking, drinking, doing weed. From having a perfect physique where every day morning, 4 o'clock, he would run and all that. He developed a tummy. And from being a studious, he ended up failing in all his subjects. Until the point where his father came and took him away from the hostel. True story, huh? So you see how people change. He didn't know how to handle his freedom. He didn't know how to handle independence. So that can be a danger you'll face. And that is why I don't recommend youngsters, very, very young people to do it. That is why there is a phase of college where you experience freedom, but you're accountable to your parents. The best time to do it is when you're starting your own career path, when you work, when you're earning, and when you're saving. And that is the time you have to be a man and go out on your own. Because once you go out on your own, you learn what is life. I know this goes against mixed, especially families, traditional families that stay together, large families. But then that's the only way you'll discover who you are. For me, after I stayed away from my parents, from the age of 16 onwards, I used to keep trying to run away from home. The actual time came from the age of 20. I would say that from 20 until 30, girls, fun, bodybuilding, steroids, spending money, wasting time. 30 to 35 is where I focused on money, but fame, bigger bodybuilding and contacts, connections, money, but I never saved. It was only after, and my ego and pride went up, only after 36, after I lost everything, when I tried to redo my life. 36 to 40 is where I took things really, really seriously and to rebuild my life. But then at 40, again, I had to restart from scratch. And 40 to 47, that time, I finally understood my roles, my responsibilities, and how I have to behave. So, how is my character today? Am I a good guy? Am I a bad guy? I'm good with my wife, my kid, but not too good. I'm very good with myself. I treat myself with love and respect because there's nobody else who will do that for me. Where my wife and baby come, I love them and I care about them. And I know this because every time I buy things for them, I take care of them, I provide for them, I keep for their safety. When my clients are concerned, it's a financial transaction, but one that involves emotional, intellectual, moral, and physical involvement. And if I want them to succeed, I have to love and care about them. I can't take a client if I don't care. I cannot have a client who I hate. I cannot have a person who doesn't listen. I cannot have a person who is not moldable. And it just doesn't work because of my personality. Okay. So with my clients, I keep it professional, but I don't tell them I love you, I care about you, but I show them through actions. But I keep them at a distance. It doesn't go beyond the financial part, because the day their problem is solved or the day they don't need me, they're not going to keep me, they're not going to pay me. This is not charity. Where friends are concerned, I have known people have their own priorities, so I don't please them. Hi, how are you? Bye. That's it. Unless we talk, we might talk after a very long time, but few minutes, bye bye. Enemies, though, I don't keep enemies, I don't want enemies. But if someone doesn't like me or I don't like them, block and delete. I don't need to know what's happening in life. You don't need to know what's happening in my life. People who have hurt and harmed me, I don't want to think about them. Yes, I'll use those memories and moments to fuel me, but I'll not be busy spying on them. Like, you know how when a girlfriend breaks up with a boyfriend or boyfriend breaks up with a girlfriend, they keep spying on them, knowing what they're doing. I don't have that habit. Never had, thankfully. Block and delete, go do whatever you want. It's none of my business. If you're doing better off than me, good for you. If you're doing worse off than me, well. So if I were to summarize this big long video, should you be a good person or a bad person? Should you be villainous character or rebel like Andrew Tate, or should you be someone who follows the rules, protocols like a politician? Should you be a rank holder? I think the answer lies within yourself. What makes you happy? If you are totally alone, away from society, friends, people you know, mother, father, everyone, you're totally alone. How would you be? What rules would you make for yourself? What would you want? How would you live your life? What would you eat? What would you not eat? Would you go to pray to God? Would you not go to pray to God? Would you be humble? Would you be braggadocious? Would you be a nice guy? Like in the four walls of anonymity, so many young men, they show the most vile, most sexually depraved, the most sinister, most evil side. Because that is what they are really inside. So many of our Indians, they will say, oh, she's like my sister and all that. But when they're alone, I wouldn't mind giving her this and that. And they don't spare even sometimes their friend, even their friends' children. That is how depraved people are. So who are you really? Only you should know. And you should be true to it. Now, I'm not saying start being a pedophile or being a rapist. Or everything has a price to pay. We cannot function as a society if we start harming others. So without hurting and harming others, within the parameters of what is allowed, do what you have to do, be what you have to be. Like, if you like sleeping around, and in the country that you are, prostitution is allowed, or even if you do it, don't tell anyone about it, but do it and have your fun, fine. But if it is not allowed in the country and you can be jailed, and then don't do it. So I would just conclude by saying, be yourself. You have just one life. You have just one life to be happy. Be yourself. Do what makes you happy without hurting and harming anyone. Be true to yourself, because one day or another, your mother and father are not going to be there. Your friends are not going to be there. Society is not going to be there. You're going to be alone. And maybe your wife and kid will also leave you, and you'll be alone and you're going to die. So when are you going to be yourself? Once you're retired and once nobody's there, and when you have money, what if you never have money? So my advice to you is, you have just this one life, okay? Without hurting and harming anyone, be true to yourself. Yes, your mother and father have the best intentions for you. They don't want you to smoke, drink, do tattoos, have a boyfriend who looks like this, or be rebellious or sleep around. Fine. That is what your parents want. What do you want? But one thing keep in mind is, there will be a price to pay. There will be, if you do drugs, if you do weed, if you do alcohol, you smoke, there will be a price to pay, and that price will have to be borne by you. Like if you spend money, you gamble, you take credit cards, you get yourself in debt, you will pay a price. So then don't blame anyone. And if you go sleeping around and if you get AIDS or STD and it's not curable, if you love driving and you go fast and you drive at crazy speeds and there's an accident and you lose your hand, your leg, you get paralyzed. That happens in Samui where I stay. So many tourists, young tourists, 20-year-olds. They drive like mad, they enjoy like crazy, they get drunk, they smash their car, and they are actually hospitalized, paralyzed. 20-year-olds, paralyzed. Some have lost their hand, their limb. Some have smashed their face, and they have to pay 100,000 or 500,000 or... You are accountable to your own choices. You have to pay the price. So be a grown-ass man, be a grown-ass woman. Understand that everything that you do has a price to pay, whether spending money, whatever. But then ask yourself, do you want to be true to yourself? If yes, within the parameters, be true to yourself. And where there's extreme kinky or horrible stuff that you and I can't talk about, that maybe you need to go to a psychologist or psychiatrist to weed out that poison, because there are some things which are not natural, which the woke generation today says, I identify as a dog, I identify as a attracted to young people, I identify as attracted to animals. That is not normal. For that you need psychiatric evaluation. So don't mix that up. So having said this, I hope this video added value. I never planned for it to be so long, but I surely, sincerely from my heart, hope it added value. Yes, we have role models to be like bad boys, Marvel characters or villains, but you will pay the price for it. Ask yourself, is that you? If it is yes, continue being. You'll eventually find out who you are when you stay alone, away from everyone. Society, religion, friends, everyone. And you discover who you are, and then you'll create a new world around it, and that will define you. For me, I'm the only person in my family who has tattoos, only person who has a Thai wife, only person who stays in a forest, only person who stays away from religion, family, society, friends, everyone. And I'm very happy. After all, that's the only thing that matters. This is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, good, bad, ugly. Love to hear from you. Because remember, one life. Just one. I've lived it. The books, the games, the computers, and my past. The girls, the fun. And now retired. Alright? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is me signing off. You guys take care. Ciao.